Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. We're really excited this morning. We've got two amazing guests. We're going to dig into the world of streaming and sports content. And, you know, these guys are way overqualified to talk to us all about these two topics. So without further ado, let me introduce them. On my left is Jennifer Powell, the Chief Commercial Officer of the LA Rams. Jennifer Prince, I was right. Chief Commercial Officer of the LA Rams, and you joined in December 21, and the first ever Chief Commercial Officer. And then previously 9 years at Twitter, looking after media, entertainment, and distribution. And then on the other side, Evan Shapiro. Many of you will know him from his Media War and Peace newsletter. He can tell you more about that. The unofficial, official cartographer of the streaming universe. So, listen, guys, thank you very much for coming. We're all really excited to listen in, and over to you.
Thanks so much. All right, so I guess I'm gonna kick off the conversation, but it's gonna be a conversation, and I'd love to ask you about Twitter, but I won't ask you about that.
Let's save all of us.
Tell me about Twitter. What do you think's going on? No. So sports rights. I mean, what's fascinating is you have all of these millions of dollars being spent on all of these beachfront things, right? And the one thing I think everybody agrees upon is that right now, if you want to advertise in media, sports is really the best environment for that, right? I mean, you work in commercial deals on sports, but the NFL right now, they were 82 or 84 of the top 100 broadcasts last year. How does it feel to be part of the heart of where all of the eyeballs and ad dollars are moving right now? Does it feel that way? Do you feel like it's that vibrant and that rich an environment for you right now?
Yeah, listen, I get to capitalize on and think about the power of the NFL. So our CMO thinks about how do we grow our fan base and reach fans, right? We have so much opportunity because of the NFL, the playbook that they give the 32 clubs. We're one of 32. We happened to win the Super Bowl a year ago, February, and so we have a lot of momentum. And so for us, just thinking about the power of their distribution, the partnerships they create, and how all of that trickles down to our business. From everything that I do, which as a chief commercial officer, I'm focused on brand partnerships and partners that want to surround the Rams. So if we can get them their next best customers, right, and surprise and delight our fans, and it's not just game day, it's not just season, it's right now off season, it is 365, right? Fans don't sleep, they don't take breaks, and hopefully we capitalize on them. But I would say that sitting in the power and the center of the NFL has really provided a playbook, and you're right, just sports, live sports, and when you think about the top programs, and if we're 84 of the top 100, right, and hopefully our games are some of them, it's pretty powerful.
Well, 94 of the top broadcast shows last year were sports, and of all of the broadcast shows, they were all live. So you have something that is really desired right now in marketing, which is live eyeballs, things that are not interruptible because it's happening right in front of you. I mean, I'm sure some people time delay games, but vast majority of your interaction with consumers is live. And so the ads are not skippable, the impressions are not skippable. It is interesting. So you're one of 32, you're a franchise. Literally, and you have to deal with all the. Actually, let's take it back. When you start to initiate a relationship with a brand partner, you're talking about live. There's electronic media. There's the display media inside the venue itself. There's the back of tickets, and then there's the social footprint. How do you construct a partnership with a partner who comes in with such an asymmetrical set of assets, some of which you don't control wholly, like the broadcast itself?
Yeah. So some brands are partnered with the league, and then we get to either be a part of that or win our share. There's so many partnerships that we strike on our own, where a brand comes directly to a club or a team. So the way we think about it is we partner with purpose. There has to be authenticity in terms of the core values of the brands aligning with the Los Angeles Rams. We're a team that has prided ourselves on firsts ever since the beginning. And so we think about innovation and technology possibly more than other NFL teams or sports teams. And the way that I position the Los Angeles Rams to brands is we're not just an LA local team sitting in the biggest league, the NFL. We are a platform. We're a global platform. So the NFL expanded internationally. last year, and we all got to bid on different regions. So we have a footprint now in Australia, New Zealand, China, and Mexico. And so it's not just about Los Angeles and the Southern California DMA. We know where we need to play locally, but we get to take advantage of talking to fans, meeting them where they are, which means everything you just talked about. So it's not just game day, it's not just broadcast and linear.
It's year
it's
round.
the social.
Yeah.
So we need to show the player's helmet off, and there are so many narratives and stories to tell there. And then we get to also work with brands on custom content. So one great example, last year, coming off of the Super Bowl win, our kickoff game was a Thursday night game, kicking off all of the NFL season.
On Amazon.
That one was not so the kickoff game isn't.
Okay.
That next Thursday is when Amazon Thursday Night Football kicks in, which we'll get to streaming and Amazon and YouTube and more. But we worked with Warner Brothers and Black Adam, the film, and Dwayne Johnson kicked off the game as our Rampede lead, getting everyone hyped up in a Black Adam t-shirt on broadcast. Then, fast forward later in the game, we created a whole moment around showing the trailer of Black Adam. And then we did all of this custom content in the weeks leading up to this because Dwayne Johnson and Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, they love each other, and they wanted to work out together. So he came to Cal-Lu, our practice facility, and they did a workout, and they created all of this incredible custom content.
This was all in partnership with Warner?
Yes.
And this was
so this
Rams
was like
partnership?
So this was Rams and Warner Brothers creating this really overarching.
Did the NFL get involved in that as well for the
Not
national?
necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think they also bought spots in linear, so the NFL benefited there.
Right.
But to create something that had this social footprint, a storytelling narrative, it talked about Dwayne Johnson, who wanted to play football, and Aaron Donald, who is a fanboy of Dwayne Johnson, and that connective tissue, seeing them work out together, I was there in the room, was out of control. But these are the types of partnerships that we're creating. They're holistic, they have the social footprint.
Well, and to your point, I mean, the Rams are a piece of intellectual property. They're a global intellectual piece of property. They're in the largest television market in America anyway, if not the face of the earth. And so you have to allow the partner brand to kind of get inside, almost suit up with the Rams brand to a certain extent in order to fit and in order for the fans to actually appreciate the partnership. Otherwise, they're going to reject it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And to sit in the center of sports, media, and entertainment, we happen to have a palace of a building where we play football. SoFi Stadium, the technology, the innovation is just incredible. That video board gives us the asset and the platform to run a movie trailer like no other, actually. And so to have that as this game day experience married with social, they then use all these assets after that, leading up to sell tickets, right? And it's very Los Angeles to be able to do this.
It's also very holistic, to your point, and very authentic, and probably a good model. I mean, not all brand partnerships can be this way, but if you have a platform, the SoFi Stadium itself and the Rams themselves, and you have a platform that has an engaged fan base and a really cult-like following, I think in order to make holistic or partnerships that last and partnerships that are meaningful, the brands have to meet in the middle. And I don't know that every platform that you see partnering out there takes it from the same approach.
Yes. And I think I'm the first ever chief commercial officer. I unified a few teams. The NFL likes to call it sponsorship. It's typically a logo slap with some integration.
Right, but that's not how
My
you do it.
team is partnerships. I hate the word sponsorship. My team was a team of 20. We're now a team of 35. So we're functioning more like what I came from. I worked at Google and YouTube and Twitter. We're a platform, and the level of service and also just the measurement and attribution, we're trying to bring it to the next level. So we provide more visibility into everything that we can. I'm thinking about how do we create more insights and measurement and outcomes to ensure that in real life experience, which is hard to measure, by the way, we're creating more opportunity there. So we're thinking about all of this in a way that is different than the typical team.
And I think with disintermediation and skipping of ads, even in live sports, the idea that you can get outside of the box, get outside of the medium, and actually touch people live on social video, everywhere the cult takes the brand, basically.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So let's zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about Thursday night. To me, last season, Thursday Night Football arriving on streaming for the first time was a paradigm change. That was a major shift. Did you all feel that at the time? What was the view of the Thursday Night Football coming to Amazon Prime from within the league?
Yeah, so I don't sit in the league, the league's perspective, and
this-
no, I know what you mean, but like more from the club perspective.
Yeah.
How awesome to be able to try something different for Thursday night games and to kind of make TNF even more of a brand that then sits somewhere else and to know where it's going to be. There's no question to it. I'm thinking about how Prime and how they're building out, Prime membership, and so it's not about, do you want to pay for this content? It's like they're weaving it into their whole collective service, which is genius. So we just had them come speak. We did an all-staff offsite, and Amazon came with Whitworth, who's on air, and a woman who's responsible for all of the production and casting, and then Marie, and they just got to explain to us like what it meant in year one to be a part of that shift and to see what that looks like. And now they're thinking about how do we iterate for the next season and beyond. And I think that we'll all see more surprises as to how Amazon continues to iterate on this first season. So for us, it was great. People knew where to go. And it was just a different way of viewing, yet still reaching people where they are as a part of a bundle of something else.
And I think it's important to note that Amazon Prime saw the more signups on that one day, the
Yep.
Thursday night first game of the season, than on any other day in the history of Prime.
And
More
that's
than
what they
Prime
talked about.
Day, more than any other special offer that they've ever made. So obviously, football in particular, but sports as a piece of intellectual property,
The power.
is not just great for entertainment and maybe even just great for the brands, but the platforms that use them will also find, I think, customer loyalty and longer lifetime value as well.
That's exactly that. And then if you think about the future of, okay, and then on Amazon, you're buying Rams gear, you're
Right.
doing other things.
Right, we're click away, right?
Yes.
Well, and so now YouTube is going to get NFL Sunday Ticket. Do you know, as much as you can say, do you
Yeah.
know how that's going to work
Yeah.
as a bundle or as part
Yeah.
of their offering?
So we have YouTube TV in our home, so I definitely know because by June 6th we needed to sign up for benefits in this bundle.
Right.
So bottom line is Sunday Ticket now is on YouTube TV, and it's either you subscribe or there's the standalone, and there's also Red Zone, and there's different optionality. But you can get it on YouTube TV, or
As a
you can
part
get
of
it
their
on
package.
YouTube, and you pay to get the package of Sunday Ticket. So to see all games, and you can reach people out of region, out of market. So talk about a team that was in Los Angeles, went to St. Louis, back to Los Angeles, now with a lot of global fans, or always with global fans, but even more since this new international footprint came into play. People can watch it anywhere. Now, what's interesting is, as far as I understand, DirecTV still has the commercial
Right, so the
license.
out-of-home, the bars,
Yes,
and the restaurants.
exactly. So I was speaking with someone here, and they're the agency to Dave & Buster's, so they were talking about how they should create this watch party environment, sports bar environment, right on Sundays, and so they would go to DirecTV. But for the consumer of YouTube TV, and I need it in my house, because if I'm not at that away game, or if I want to watch all games, right, I need it. So there are all these different bundles and packages and opportunities for Sunday Ticket, for Red Zone, and it creates another place where you know where to go to get it all on a Sunday.
Well, and I think it's important to note, so I wrote about this a couple weeks ago in Next TV, and if you look at the upfronts in the United States this year, YouTube was not part of the new fronts, they were part of the upfronts. And on stage, alongside Mr. Beast, who is a major YouTube star, if you know anyone under the age of 14, you know who Mr. Beast is, and you've probably had his burgers or his chocolate bars. But right next with Mr. Beast was Roger Goodell, and they were talking about a cross-promotion between the NFL, Mr. Beast, and NFL Sunday Ticket. So I think as much as a paradigm shift as it was, and when you look at the audiences on Amazon for Thursday Night Football, they're almost as big as broadcast. They're not necessarily the same size, but they're much younger. So it's a higher percentage of younger viewers, higher percentage of that 18 to 49 demographic that people want. So I think this signals. I think this is good. This fall will be yet another major leap in the shift of the television ecosystem, driven by sports. Again, it seems like not only is sports driving viewership, but is also driving the underlying fundamental business principles of the television marketplace as well.
Exactly, and then fast forward to Peacock.
They paid $110 million for one playoff game.
So we don't know who's going to be in the playoffs yet. Maybe Eagles and the Rams. Is that what we hope for?
Not maybe.
Well,
go Birds.
But to have it only on Peacock.
Yeah.
Which is another paradigm shift.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because YouTube TV. You can subscribe to NFL Sunday Ticket. You don't have to subscribe to YouTube TV. Amazon Prime. Who here has Amazon Prime? Right, raise your hand. Right. So it's almost a ubiquitously distributed product, right? Who here, by the way, who here has Amazon Prime? Raise your hand. And who here is absolutely thinking about canceling it next month? Right. It's almost the only uncancelable bundle out there. It also should be noted, YouTube TV is the only MVPD, the only cable product in the United States that grew in the first quarter. Literally every other pay TV product lost subscribers. So it does feel like they are repositioning themselves as the next version of the cable bundle, as the one that will outlast all the rest. Is that how it feels to you?
I mean, it feels that way, yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about where sports is going to be 10 years from now, and you think about, so you've been on the cutting edge of platform media. You were at Twitter. You're now at the NFL. Cutting edge of all the different things as far as use case for media goes. When you think about where sports is going to be in 10 years, do you think the vast majority of it will be streamed live, or do you think that there's a place for traditional cable to stick around?
Well, it feels like for a long time already we've been talking about, broadcast linear, it's over.
Yeah.
It's not. So it's hard to imagine only streaming, yet it probably is going in that direction.
Well, and if you look at, Indian Premier League cricket in India moved from Hotstar to Jio. And I was just with someone who works on that product, the ad product on that. They had 32 million concurrent streams for one of the games in Indian Premier League. When you think about just nothing comes close to the viewership of the NFL. Nothing. The NBA playoffs just broke 11-year records. It does feel like the ability to get people to convene, to have a watch party live on streaming is creating a closer community worldwide, and you're seeing that from your brand distribute all over the world now.
Yeah, right? And I think just when you think about everyone who has Wi-Fi and has access and may not be in a space to be on a television, right? If it's in the palm of the hand, you could do it anywhere. Streaming's just an easier answer.
Well, and 5G is, a lot of people are going to survive using 5G technology as well. Let me ask you about, social media. We were talking about that just before the panel started. You said that you think about your brand partnerships holistically. Do you see social video as premium video? Do you see it as part of the stack of your communication with your customers and your consumers, right up there with commercial TV?
Yeah, so, the LA Rams is a global brand. And so we think about how do we storytell, how do we create content that resonates, that goes and distributes everywhere. So the social platforms for schedule release, for storytelling, for our podcasts, our video series. We have a coaches show. We do Behind the Grind that dug into the draft and all the inner workings that go on in a club, right? So, and then we partner with different production companies to create content. So On the Clock, for example, was a mini film, a 2-minute, 20-second. It looked like a film trailer. We did it last year at the draft. We had no top picks. And our strategy, coming from our marketing side, was how do we make noise in the draft if we have no top picks? We did just win the Super Bowl. And
I know, but it's hard. I mean, the year after the Super Bowl, it's like the
you
sophomore
capitalize
album.
on that
Yeah,
year,
right, exactly.
until you have a lot of injuries. And so we created this movie you have to go watch on the clock. It's everywhere. And, millions of views in a 24-hour period of time across platforms. We submitted it for work here. I'm not sure an LA brand will get picked to win, but we're trying. I think we find out today. And so to create this social content, that's the only place it distributed was socially. So for that to make noise and then generate the conversation, it's really important. And then we partner with brands, call it Nike, Gatorade, Bank of America, and others, where we're creating content attached to either players or to stories. A lot of our work we do is in the community and helping better the community. And so for us to be able to have impact in the community and then tell those stories, it's all meaningful, and social's the only way to distribute for us.
And I think there's a disconnect. I think that the LA Times did an excellent piece on how major mainstream media don't necessarily see social video or short form video as premium. But for you, I mean, again, you have the games, so that's your big premium piece of content. But outside of that, between the games, between the seasons, you're making premium content on social year-round, and millions of dollars worth of content.
Yes, and for On the Clock, we hired major production companies and award-winning cinematographers, and we're a team. So we're creating so much premium content, and I think it's required because you're right. The NFL controls distribution of our games. So we need to capitalize.
Inventory is literally limited,
and it's very
to the amount of
scarce,
spots.
as you know.
Exactly.
And so for us, we have to create these other touch points, these other narratives, the storytelling. And we want to, because our fans want to get access.
Isn't that what the brands are looking for? Aren't they coming to you saying, we're looking for short form, we're looking for extensions, we're looking for premium social content on a regular basis?
No, that's exactly it. And we're doing that like with Sleep Number. Our entire partnership is centered around content and talking about performance and the importance of sleep on performance and what that means. And like, I don't know, almost 100% of players sleep on Sleep Number beds, for example. So for us, it's really important to have an incredible in-house team, which is Ram Studios. And then we also commission other production companies.
So you have a permanent, full-time production company for, and it's primarily short-form content.
Yes, it doesn't mean that we don't go outside for other premium content.
But it's, my understanding is that all the teams have an in-house studio like that.
Like you need to have your videographers and photographers, like think on the field pregame, right? That's like mandatory and a must. Or we partnered with Nickelodeon last year. It was the first time the NFL had a Christmas Day game. We got to benefit from that. We played the Denver Broncos. It was in Los Angeles on Christmas. It was 80 degrees. It was bizarre. And for them, they were already the broadcast, right? Nickelodeon was one of the two broadcasts with CBS. But we said, we want to blow this out for you and with you and surprise and delight families on Christmas Day. So we partnered with them, and that was a brand partnership. That was a commercial partnership. And so we did slime stairs in the end zone so that when there was a broadcast, it was elevated. We had slime hats in all of the lower bowl, so everyone got a slime hat. Our giveaway was a scarf, even though it was 80 degrees. And it had slime on it with our colors of royal and soul, is what we call our blue and our yellow. And it created just such an experience. And then when we think about reaching this younger demographic that everyone's trying to reach, we're doing a lot with AR in our building.
So that whole Nick thing on TV was AR
exactly.
generated.
So we had the largest snowball fight ever, and it was through AR with a partner around, which is a part of Stagwell. We also do so much with Snap. And so we were the first venue, first stadium, first team, and only last season to have Snap's camera kit installed in SoFi Stadium. And we used it. Another team that also plays in our building didn't, because they don't have that relationship. So we got to capitalize on making it special, differentiating, right, because there are two teams in LA.
Yeah.
And we created these Snap lenses that were branded with partners like Avatar. So when they showed fans in stands in one game in December, then we had the Avatar face, the blue Avatar face. But then we showed the Avatar trailer later in the game to kind of bring it all together. Or we did
on the
slime
screen.
on the big screen, which is like a massive
it's huge.
screen, the best in the world. And so then we did slime. So then there were like the slime snap lenses. So there's a lot we can do, and the touch points with different audiences is important.
So when you think about it, so you think about football, you think about big guys hitting each other with pads
all day long.
It's it seems like a very tactile. There's the hot dogs, the seats, and all this kind of stuff. But it does seem like your use of technology is kind of pervasive. It's not just, hey, we use it on social media, but even in the stadium, you're using kind of the most advanced elements of social and AR, even AI to a certain extent, to create a holistic experience, both for the fans and for the partners.
Yes, and for the behind the scenes of how game day presentation shows up. So we have the benefit of a brand new stadium. This was our second season with fans in the stadium. And so we have the best technologies. Our CTO is incredible, helped build the stadium, and is thinking about how do we iterate. And then we've recently announced we're building a practice facility in LA. And then just think about the technology there, right? Because SoFi, a $5 billion project. Yes, so we got to create the best innovation and technology because we have a brand new stadium with the capabilities and the thought from the ground up of innovating and creating that.
Beyond social and kind of traditional and outdoor and out-of-home event-based marketing, this is also, to a certain extent, this is going to sound weird, but retail media as well. So this, you have a retail I hear you talk about SoFi like Apple retailers talk about Apple stores, the merchandising and the ability to use technology to create interesting display types. But do you see it as such? I mean, this is your retail environment, and you're selling media in that retail environment.
Yes. So obviously, when people come into the building, right, they are spending on food and beverage, they're spending on merch, and we want that. In addition, you're right, it is about retail. And then we're working with brands who, like YouTube TV, it's like they're up on our big screen, and then people are like on the fly going, especially now with Sunday Ticket.
And the snap lenses
and
forces you to their product.
Exactly, and we're working in collaboration with so many different partners. And, our merchandise and our retail is through different partners like Fanatics and Legends and others. So we're working together on what that means for Rams fans getting what they want on that game day. And people who walk into SoFi for the first time, it is just jaw-dropping, even more than the first time. And so for them, they become fans because of the experience. Our game day presentation's incredible. It's a show, right? We're in LA. There's an expectation. Even with content creation like On the Clock, there's an expectation. So we get to capitalize on all these things sitting in the center of LA as the NFL.
And then you have to think about how your merchandising partners are what their experience feels like and acts like on site as well.
Yes,
So you walk around the stadium on days like making sure everybody's stuff
from
looks
the
right.
Food. Yeah, John and Vinny's our food consultant. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the retail environment as we capitalize on anyone who walks into the building on game day.
That's pretty cool. And what honestly, this is your first team experience?
Yeah.
This is your first sports show?
So I've worked within sports in terms of working with the leagues on content distribution and monetization, or getting them to promote themselves with me, whether I was at Google or at Twitter. But this is my first within sports, sitting at a team experience.
What do you think? I mean, how do you see? I mean, ostensibly, it's business development, it's sales.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What do you like it? How different is it from your kind of other platform experiences?
Yeah. So it's so different. I have really benefited from joining the right ownership group with Stan Kroenke and the right leadership with Kevin Demoff in providing the resources and all of the tools and flexibility and the liberty to go be creative. I think different than most. And for a under 300 person front office and business that supports the team and the guys on the field, and then sitting in LA, yet we're at least $6.5 billion in valuation. It's almost like a smaller business combined with a massive business sitting in the NFL, which is so powerful.
The largest league in the face of the earth.
So it's better than I could have ever imagined, actually. And I'm a year and a half in and really enjoying what I get to think about in terms of commercial and revenue and partnership and growing the business to help fuel what's happening on the field and in the front office, and just being creative and trying to reach fans and
That's great.
and partner with
brands.
brands.
And there's only 32 of you, right?
And there are only 32 of us.
Exactly.
On that note.
Yeah, I think we're out of...
Yeah, listen, thank you both so much. Do we have time for a couple of questions?
Sure.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, please put your hand up. I'm going to quickly kick off with one. I really liked your example, your story with Dwayne Johnson and 99. I like Aaron Donald. I like 99.
Good, James.
So how do you, within our industry, we talk about KPIs and measurement. How do you take sort of that kind of social interaction, that type of content? How do you track it? What's the success factor for that content?
It's so interesting you say that. So anything that's on our social channels, our owned and operated, from our app to our web, we have all the traditional measurement. When you think about the in real life on game day, I think about how can I track people's eyes to make sure that whether it's from the, third to fourth quarter or halftime, that they're actually seeing that movie trailer. And I've actually talked to our commissioner about this, and I've talked to the studios. So I'm keen on either doing eye tracking, or I talk to even Neuro Insights here, just about like how do we actually know what's happening when content on that video screen, because that video board, we call it the infinity screen, does not exist everywhere. And now when you go watch and you don't have the experience you see at SoFi, if you're someone like me, it's almost hard to watch. And you want people focused on the football, but the show is part of the experience, as we know. And so I would say we're thinking about how do we measure those in real life moments. So we're working with a company called Mesh. So if we're doing an activation in American Airlines Plaza where everyone walks through to get to their seats, we actually have sensors that are tracking like foot traffic, time of day, where was it most successful, level of engagement, and as much as they can track. So we're thinking about as much as we can, but as a team, we do provide a dashboard of insights, and not every team does that.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to work with what we have. We're trying to be creative. I mean, we work with a ton of research, firms and different services to track where we can. But if anyone wants to go into business and track eyeballs on in real life screen.
IAB came out with a study just recently, or earlier this year, which said 50% of advertisers are interested in some kind of biometric
Yeah,
tracking.
definitely.
Right.
90% are interested in
You can see the
engagement
evolution
tracking.
coming
Yeah,
as we watch more and there's more screens, and that eyeball tracking, we've talked about it for a number of years. It definitely feels like
It
there's
sounds
momentum
creepy as
building.
fuck,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it is a bit creepy.
but still, I understand.
Yes.
I mean, you want
And
to be
then
able to
you
provide.
can write the white paper for us on this whole thing.
Sure.
Do we have any questions from the audience? I know both our guests are on the clock a little bit, so if not, can I get a round of applause from everyone? Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you, James,
That was
for
really
having us.
fascinating.
Thank you.
Thank you, Evan.